Children of Men is so good, it's hard for me to gather all my thoughts into a set of coherent sentences, but I'll try. Spoilers ahead. This is one of those films that reminds you why cinema exists. In a world full of what I call fearful cinema, movies so afraid to take a stance that they end up standing for nothing. This one dares to be different. Children of Men doesn't just want you to watch, it demands you to see, and does so in an expertly crafted way. Very few films look as good as this one. The Cuarón-Lubezki duo strikes again, delivering breathtaking visuals. The film's symbolism, especially the visual kind, is deeply tied to its messianic themes. A child who everyone hopes will change everything. And the tragedy Theo endures alongside Key to bring her and her baby to safety. It mirrors the story of Mary and Joseph. The film is clear in its intentions. Nothing appears on screen by chance. Everything has a purpose. Take the artworks in Nigel's office. We see Picasso's Guernica and Michelangelo's David. Guernica is an obvious nod to the horrors of war, its grotesque imagery paralleling the film's bleak world. But the David is especially interesting. The statue in the film is missing its leg, a foreshadowing of Theo's journey. His foot gets injured later, and like David's statue, Theo pays a price. The statue itself represents David versus Goliath, symbolizing Theo's battle against forces much larger than himself. Nigel also references La Pietà, a famous sculpture of the Virgin Mary holding Jesus, saying they couldn't recover it. This hints that Key won't be cradling her dead child. There's also a striking homage to Botticelli's Birth of Venus, when Key stands in the barn posing like Venus herself, reinforcing the theme of miraculous birth. When baby Dylan is born, the scene's composition resembles Rembrandt's Adoration of the Shepherds, with its singular light source and arrangement, a direct callback to the painting. The light serves not just as a literal illumination object, but also as a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos. The baby, for a brief moment, becomes a shield. Everyone stops, mesmerized. They forget why they were fighting, if only for a second. Then, tragically, they resume, completely disregarding the miracle they just witnessed. This perfectly conveys that a child's birth won't be a miraculous fix to the broken world. Humanity's deep-rooted conflicts won't disappear overnight. Yet the baby still brings out the best in those who are still willing to sacrifice everything to protect Key and her child. Throughout the film, we hear the words Shanti, 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 which literally means peace in Sanskrit. But it's also a reference to a poem by T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland, which explores spiritual desolation and cultural decay. The poem's closing phrase, Shanti, echoes the longing for peace amidst chaos. By including it, Cuarón connects his dystopian world to Eliot's reflection on brokenness and hope. A cry for redemption in a shattered world. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, immigration. Children of Men offers a clear critique of how society treats migrants. Even in a world where no children have been born in 18 years and the population is on the brink of collapse, humanity still turns inward, locking out those they view as other. The film draws on the nativity story again. Jesus himself was born in a humble place, on the run. The title Children of Men beholds multiple meanings, most obviously referring to the oppressed, the marginalized, those treated as disposable. But it also points to the collective responsibility of society, the children of our own choices. It's a profound reflection on what happens when fear and power structures dictate how we treat one another. Stepping away from the heavy symbolism for a moment, I have to mention how much I love the craftsmanship of this film. Every frame feels intentional. You can sense the care and thought put into every shot, beautifully lit and meticulously composed. The long, uninterrupted takes immerse you in the story, adding a visceral closeness that enhances the film's realism. The performances are stellar. Each character is layered and purposeful. Theo's character development is beautifully written, evolving in both ways that feel natural and inevitable. Cuarón uses Chekhov's gun flawlessly. Everything shown has a purpose. For example, we see a commercial for suicide kits, which are later used in the story, demonstrating the film's tight intentional structure. While we don't get a concrete explanation for why humanity has become infertile, the film doesn't need one. The film's purpose isn't to explain the dystopia, it's to immerse us in it, showing us how a world like this might function, how eerily similar it is to our own. The set design is top-notch, eerily realistic, adding to the whole immersion thing. I can only imagine how expensive it must have been to make everything look so convincing. Even the CGI, particularly the baby, is seamlessly integrated. No uncanny valley here. The effects enhance the story without drawing unnecessary attention to themselves. Needless to say, this film is incredibly rewatchable. Not just because it's easy to watch, but because every viewing reveals new layers and details. Every time I revisit Children of Men, I find something new. For me, it's a solid 97% in terms of rewatchability. In short, Children of Men isn't only a triumph of visual storytelling, but also a deeply moving exploration of societal collapse, hope, and sacrifice. As always, thank you for watching. See you next time.